So, if you're part of the Atomy world, you've probably heard this term floating around, the 50,000 PV miracle. It sounds kind of like a legend, right? But what is it really? How does it actually work? Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain and break down the entire blueprint step by step. All right, so here's how we're going to tackle this. We're going to walk through it in 5 parts. First, we'll get the basic formula down. Then, we'll see how that simple idea explodes into something huge with the duplication engine. We'll look at the big picture, the 8-month plan. After that, we'll uncover the secret to actually managing all that growth. And finally, we'll get to the real heart of it all, the one thing that makes it truly last.
First up, we're moving from fog to a clear formula. I love this subtitle, Your Business's Multiplication Table. It perfectly captures the idea, right? This isn't guesswork. It's a fundamental principle that once you learn it, you can use it over and over for predictable results.
You know, to really appreciate the new way, you have to understand the old way. So many people describe it as just walking around in a thick fog. You're working hard, but you feel directionless. It's exhausting. You're pouring time and money into it with no idea what's going to happen. The new way? It's the complete opposite. It's a clear, predictable system because it's not about just randomly signing people up. It's all about duplication. So what's the big promise here? Well, it's not vague at all. It's incredibly specific. This is a system built to get you to a monthly income of 2 million won in just 6 months. And the entire thing hinges on that one key phrase, structured duplication. And, you know, the system itself is almost shockingly simple. It boils down to 3 core principles. First, product use. You have to be a real consumer. You personally commit to using 50,000 PV of products. Second, sponsorship. You find just 2, not 100, but 2, partners who are willing to do the exact same thing. And the third, the glue that holds it all together, is education and duplication. You just repeat this simple system consistently for 6 months. That's it. That's the whole foundation.
Okay, I know what you might be thinking. Just 2 people. How does that lead to 2 million won a month? And that, my friend, is the magic of the duplication engine. Let's watch how just 2 people can multiply into a sales army.
So, let's look at month 1. It all starts with you finding your 2 partners. But here's the crucial part. The work doesn't stop there. The real key is helping your 2 partners find their 2 partners. And just like that, you, your 2 partners, and their 4 partners, you've got a team of 7 active people. That's the first spark of duplication. And that initial spark catches fire fast. Just look at how these numbers accelerate. By month 2, if that simple 2x2 duplication continues, your team jumps to 30 partners. And then, month 3. This is what they call the tipping point. Your team has more than doubled again to 62 people. And now for the really cool part, the PV. That team of 62 people, each doing their 50,000 PV, is now generating over 3.1 million in group PV. See, at this point, you're not just building a team anymore, you're creating real, measurable business volume. And this chart just lays it all out beautifully. If you follow that duplication through to the end of the 3rd month, your group PV actually hits 6.3 million. That absolutely smashes the requirements for the first major rank in Atomy, Sales Master. Think about that. Sales Master in just 3 months. That's huge. Hitting Sales Master is an amazing accomplishment, but really it's just the first major stop on a much bigger journey. Now that we've seen the engine in action, let's zoom out and look at the full roadmap this system lays out.
And the plan doesn't slow down. I mean, look at this progression. It's incredibly fast. Month 4, Diamond Master. Month 5, Sharon Rose Master. Month 6, Royal Master. And then, believe it or not, the plan projects reaching the absolute top rank, Imperial Master, in just 8 months.
Now, you might be looking at that and thinking, is that even possible? And look, this isn't some wild guess, it's just math. This chart maps out the whole journey. It shows how the partners, the PV, and your income are all designed to grow exponentially. Sure, it's a perfect theoretical model, but it proves the incredible potential that's locked inside that simple, repeatable formula.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing, right? But here's the million-dollar question. How on earth do you manage something that's growing that fast? Exponential growth is awesome, but it can get chaotic real quick. And that brings us to the secret weapon for managing it all, the miracle note. Seriously, think about it for a second. When your team grows into the hundreds, maybe thousands, who do you talk to? Who do you support? How do you keep from getting completely overwhelmed? You absolutely need a system for this.
And the answer is actually pretty brilliant in its simplicity. You don't try to manage everyone. It's impossible.
Instead, you strategically select 7 key leaders on your left line and 7 on your right. Then you pour 100% of your energy into those 14 people. You help them become perfect duplicators of the system. You also connect them to each other, creating a support network so they can help each other out.
So we have the formula, we have the growth engine, and we have the management tool. But there's one last piece. And honestly, it's the most important piece of the entire puzzle. It's what I like to call the teacher imperative.
This right here, this is a total mind shift. Your real job isn't just to follow the steps yourself. Your real job is to get so good at the plan that you can create more teachers. You have to make your partners into people who can turn around and explain this whole system to someone new, just as clearly as you can. That is the real work.
And that means your focus has to change completely. Maybe you spend about 20% of your time and energy learning and mastering the plan for yourself. But the other 80%, that has to be dedicated to teaching it to your partners. Success stops being about just you and starts being about building an entire organization of teachers.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? The real power here isn't in your personal ability to follow the steps. It's about how many other people you can empower to do the same. True mastery isn't doing, it's teaching.
So when you look at these infographics, these master plans, don't just see them as a set of instructions. Think of them as your curriculum. These are your textbooks. And this is where the education principle becomes absolutely critical. The goal is to master these manuals so deeply that you could write them out from memory. In fact, a key part of the training is to literally write it out 100 times until it's second nature. This is the material you'll use to train your own army of leaders.
So, at the end of the day, now that you've seen the blueprint, the final question isn't really about the plan anymore. It's about you. Are you going to be a student, someone who just follows the formula? Or are you ready to become a teacher, someone who can build, train, and duplicate an entire army of successful leaders? The choice is yours.